Welcome to Let's Talk. I'm Carrie.
I'm Candace.
And I'm Cletus, and we are fortunate to have our guest today, Miss Margarita Norment. Tell us about yourself.
Okay, well, I'm the director of the Advising Center, and let's see, where are we going to start? So, I came back to SAU as I've always been a non-traditional student, I guess, but a non-trad and a first gen. I came back in 2014, let's see. If I can remember this right. I think it was 2014 or 13 I came back. And I was like 26, 27, had 2 kids. I did a English and history and minor degree. And then I finished that and I started working at a school here in town, taught for a year English. Bad year. Real bad year. And my therapy was rolls from Chicken E. And SAU's campus. So I'd come on campus, bring me a book, sit on a swing, breathe the SAU air, listen to the chatter of the kids. For real, I'm not even lying. Like, really, this is my therapy. And so after the year was over, I was like, okay, teaching's not for me. Like, but what is for me? I need a job. So I started researching some degrees on SAU's website, and I found Student Affairs College Counseling. I was like, okay, that seems like something I'd be interested in. Looked at the list of classes, seemed like something I'd want to do, so I started that. And then I finished that in, I think, 2017-ish. While I was doing that degree, I was Dean Baker's GA.
You were.
And I interned in the Advising Center as part of the program for 3 semesters. Finished that, couldn't find me a job on SAU's campus, the campus I loved. So I went to South Ark, worked there, fell in love with those people on that campus. And then SAU called me and I started working in the Advising Center. Then someone left from the Advising Center, so then I got pushed up. Someone left that position, and then Shelly left as the director of the Advising Center. And so then I moved into her spot. In, I don't even remember, all the months run together. So the beginning of, I guess, fall semester. And then that's where we are right now. Okay. So there's my fast version.
Okay. So as our director of advising, you help a lot of our students find their way. Sometimes they know what they're coming here to do, and sometimes they don't.
That's true.
So part of your job is helping them to find their way, find their niche, so to speak. So what are some of the methods that you use to encourage the students to be great?
The methods. Okay. Well.
Okay, we'll say strategies then.
I mean, that's not much better of a word. Okay, well, some students come in obviously knowing what they want to do. Mm-hmm. And so, but I love the undecideds. Like, those are my people. I love those people. So I do have some websites that I use where we look at, because you have some students that are like, okay, I kind of want to do this. Or, they're like, I want to do something with music, or I want to do something with art, or I want to do something with English, or whatever. And so, like, they don't know exactly. So we kind of start troubleshooting from there. And then some people say, look, I want to make $90,000 when I graduate, or 120 or whatever, and so that's a little, I'm like, okay, well, it's probably going to be in the med field, some sciencey, whatever, and so we started doing that. It just depends on what their answer is and what they give me. But I use a lot. There's some websites that I use. Others, sometimes the best one is laying out 3 or 4 degrees, whatever, and then trying to find common threads. And then maybe some entry level from each degree. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe if they're thinking criminal justice, then we'll do intro to criminal justice. If they're thinking like intro, or they're thinking education, we may do intro to ed. And then that way they can taste a few different things and see, okay, well, that's definitely not for me. Or I kind of like this. Let's explore this a little bit more. So that's probably the strategies, I guess, that you would say I use with underside students.
Okay. Cool.
So how long do the students stay under your wing?
With the Advising Center, they're there for 30 hours. Mm-hmm. Unless they're undecided, they'll stay with us until they declare a major. Per the catalog, I think we're supposed to make them go to career counseling at about 60 hours. But so undecided stay with us, 30 hours. Non-degree seeking transient students. So those are students that maybe they're going somewhere else, but they just want a summer course here, then they'll see us. And then we have students that are nursing, that are trying to get in the nursing program. So they'll be with us until they get admitted into the nursing program. So I guess the correct answer to that would be about 30 hours.
Okay.
Yep.
What do we do? I'm a student. I have a major. I'm very interested in being a mule rider. And I'm interested in a major that may not be offered here at SAU.
Okay.
Are there options for students to put together a major that may, or put together a course, a curriculum,
I mean, yes.
majors that we may not offer?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So we have the university studies degree, which is kind of sort of customizable, but we can only do what we have. You know what I mean? Like I can't just make a class out of nowhere. And so if there are courses that we don't have, then like let's say they're wanting to go to some other school, but they want to, maybe they get an awesome scholarship here, which is normally the thing. We do give some pretty awesome scholarships. And, or, you know, maybe they're close to mom or dad or whatever. They just want to stay here as long as they can. Then we'll try and get as many of those prereqs or many of those classes as we can here. And then they'll transfer wherever they need to transfer to get whatever.
Okay.
But if it's a degree like, this kind of falls with the undecided students, kind of like, they kind of like the education, but they kind of like the criminal justice, and they kind of like this. Then with the university studies is a good one because you have 3 concentrations. You have your dominant, and then you have 2 minor ones, and so we can kind of customize a degree that way.
Okay.
But if I don't have the classes, I don't have the classes. So
But nobody really does university studies, do they?
we do have some that that do. Oh, that was a joke. Sorry.
That was me, and I loved it every piece of it because it was just like what you said. I took the things I really, really enjoyed. So I think it's a great
Just
degree plan.
looks like, I mean, what was your experience like in university studies? And then what'd you do?
I started out education. I did my very first semester of student teaching, and I was like, not for me. So I went to the advising center, which it was Shelly, and she kind of helped me create that degree plan. And I took a lot of counseling, psychology, criminal justice. I also took stuff in HKR and theater. So those were my 3 areas. But yeah, I just took whatever. Now I had to take upper level, of course, so you do have to.
Yeah.
You have a limited amount.
And the degrees changed a little bit since when you did it. Because
Yeah.
back then it was
It's
called
been a
general
while.
studies, and now it's
Yes.
called university studies. And so it's a
Yes.
little more, I don't want to say strict, because that's not really a good word, but there's more rules,
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. Yeah.
But then I had to go and get my
Structure.
master's here. So
Yeah.
yeah, I couldn't just walk away with that and go
Yeah.
do anything.
And you did
I
the
wanted.
same, we did the same master's,
Yes.
right? Student Affairs Culture. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So it was perfect for me because I did take all those counseling classes, which prepared me. I didn't know at the time that's what I was going to do, but it prepared me more than I thought. Yeah. I took scuba diving, all kinds of good stuff. We have some great classes.
Scuba diving.
Yes.
Do we still?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
And
it
you're
still-
certified at the end.
Is it
Just
still
yeah, yeah.
Steve?
No, it's Clay Rayburn.
Oh.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Used to be Oaks teaching that class.
Well, he assists with it for sure.
Okay. Okay.
It's a little
He
group.
wasn't. Okay.
Yeah,
that
I think he still does it now.
Cool.
I took that in pottery.
I want to take ceramics so bad.
It's so
It's
good.
a night class. One day that's going to happen
It's so
after
good.
I finish with my doctorate. And then after I get my master's in English, that's going to be the next thing.
Yeah.
Then I may start doing pottery.
It's so good.
So you're glutton for punishment.
Oh no, I just love it. It's just
Okay,
back,
word.
like I'm already planning the next one. And I
Word.
think, yeah. I found out, I did a little research because I love that too. Found out that we have some upper level or master's level English classes here. So I could get my 18 hours so I could actually teach English at a collegiate level.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's after the doctorate.
Word.
Yep.
Word.
All right, let's get back to the advising center.
In the time that you've been here, as in that capacity, what have you noticed any national trends or some changes in advising that are happening either locally or nationally that, especially since COVID and the structure of higher ed now that has changed somewhat? the offerings, the courses can be done virtually now, or hybrid, or in class face to face. So have you seen some trends?
Well, I mean, kind of yes and no. So like when COVID was going on, when it was hot and heavy, we had students that were, it was kind of, I want to say it's almost 50-50. We had students that were fearful. They wanted as much online as they could. They didn't really want to do the whole in-class thing. And then we had some that were on the opposite side. They had been through it in high school. They had to do with all online in high school. They had a nasty taste in their mouth. They didn't want to have anything to do with it. So they're like, give me as much in-class as I can get. And so, and it still kind of carried on that way. I think it's almost been the ones that thought they wouldn't like online, maybe are tending to like online better, and then the other side of it, the ones that thought they were like online. So it's kind of a mix. You'll have something like, hey, I liked online, did it, I kind of want as much as I can, but I personally don't like putting students online because of the retention aspect of it. And being student activities.
Yes.
Student life, y'all can attest to this. You have someone who is locked up in their dorm room all the time and they're doing online, they become just singled out and they don't get involved. Going to class forces them to get out of their room and go to a classroom and meet people and be out there. And so I personally don't encourage online unless there are certain circumstances. You know what I mean? Like a couple online's fine, but when a student says I want all online, like I'm very hesitant to do that. We have to have a conversation, me and the student. So before I do that.
Going back even to pre-COVID days, and I was a coach for a while, and so like particularly young students, freshmen, I think they had a perception that like maybe online would be easier, and that seldom was the case.
Yeah.
Because you don't get that same level of interaction. And again, when you're a young student, I mean, some students may come to college kind of fearful of getting out there, and they think that I'm going to have this comfort zone and I'm going to function better there. And that's just not the way things tend to turn out.
Right.
When a student is not engaged in everything that's going on and not having the opportunity to maybe ask questions after class or work with other students in a study group or sit around and ask questions after. There's a lot that you miss in online, and in online you've got to be very disciplined. And for a young student in particular, not having the same level of structure is not a good thing usually. I just think it's easier in class.
Yeah, I agree. And going to athletics, we have a lot of athletes that come in because they have practice or they have to games or they have meets or whatever they have to do, and they're like, hey, I really want to do online because, and we have to have that heart-to-heart, that personal conversation, that intrusive advising, if I'm going to use technical term there, and I have to say like, look, let's talk about this. How well are you at time management? Do you lay out your schedule? Because some onlines are like, okay, all of your assignments are due on Sunday by midnight. But you'll have some that want to shake it up a little bit. Okay, you may have an assignment due on Tuesday. You may have an assignment due on Thursday. Then you may have it. And if you have all these deadlines, while you're still going to have all those odd deadlines within class, you always have that teacher going, don't forget, we have a test on Tuesday.
Right, exactly.
You don't have
exactly
that.
what I was thinking.
Right.
At the end of the class, teacher gives you a little reminder of what we're doing next time or what we got coming up. Online, you're not going to have that.
And I've had students tell me, I'm like, okay, you had an F in this class. Why do you have an F in this class? I wasn't getting notifications on Blackboard. Okay, well, the teacher may not have set it up to give notifications on Blackboard, but that is your responsibility as an online student. You write that in their calendar, hey, I got this due or whatever. And so, online, it's not my fave. And I mean, not my personal fave either, because with my undergrad, everything was in person. I don't even remember, I think I may have had 2 online classes the whole time, and I loved it. And then with Student Affairs College Counseling, we only had 2 in-person classes. Everything else was online, and I despised it. I loved the content, but I really didn't like the degree because of that aspect. And then with the doctorate program I'm going through, we do like Zoom meetings where we're not, like, I'm not looking at people like this, it's behind a screen, but we still get to have that interaction. So it's like a good combination of the two, I guess. But the whole online thing, read chapter 10 and do this. Like, that's just not my thing.
Right, because when we talk about online, we're not talking about Zoom class.
Right, no. It is like, teacher puts on there and says, hey, chapter 12, read chapter 12, answer these questions, do the discussion board. That's it.
Yeah, that just takes a lot of
Yeah.
a lot of discipline.
Yeah.
Which as a young student, as an undergrad, I never
Yeah.
would have been able to.
Yeah.
But we're from different generations, and we're less conditioned for that type of setup. Where these students, that's all they know, which is why it's hard for us to get them to come out to activities that meet face to face.
Right.
And even the way our students are meeting now, it's student organizations. They don't really meet in person anymore. They meet via group me and text message, and when we used to just a few years ago. All the meetings were face to face, so I think they bring that dynamic to the campus now. So they think they prefer that, but then we see that
that's sad though, because like in our office we also deal with retention.
I agree.
And that's another big part of, because we do class absences and early alerts in our office, and that is a big part of it. And I'm speaking to the choir here with the three of y'all, but if they're not engaged on campus, face to face, getting out of their dorm, doing something, they're just not going to do well most of the time. I mean,
that staying insulated is, maybe a comfort zone for them.
Right.
Or at least they think it is.
Yeah.
But is it really the best preparation for the world of work?
Yeah.
And having a job, which is really what college is all about.
Yeah.
Preparing you to be a productive, employee and worker, and becoming a leader. It's hard to do that from your dorm room.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. So you're at ground zero when it comes to seeing the student. A lot of times your office is the first to see and know the student and know what their aspirations are. So that connection is very, very important in retention.
Yeah, we're also the troubleshooting place. We get phone calls from all over the place. Like, I don't know where to send this person. What do I do? Or the student, like, I've been directed 50 million places on campus. I don't know what to do. Find me a person. And so we are kind of the hub. We're the hub for a lot of things. So we have to our front line, my admin and our student workers, they're prepared for, or we try to be prepared for, a plethora of questions that get thrown our way. But yes, as far as advising and retention and all of that, we are kind of the hub for that. We see them first because we deal with the freshmen. We try and lay the groundwork for them. That's another thing that freshman seminar and career life planning does too. We try and lay that groundwork, like this is the way you should act. You should have study skills like this. You should want to meet students like this. You should want to be involved like this. Try and help them learn, lay that foundation. And then, but if that foundation is shaky, if it doesn't get sturdy, we're still there to help them with the early alert and the class absences. So we're with them throughout, I guess, in certain aspects.
So how does a student go about making a schedule?
Well, typically they would either come by the advising center, email us, call us, whatever, make an appointment with us, and then we sit down with them. We keep a file on every student, shows like emails, past schedules, transcripts, whatever, and then we sit down with them and just have a conversation,
So you make an appointment first.
Yeah. Yep.
Advising includes what type of services for students? I know that advising is the focal point, but are there other services that you offer under the umbrella of advising to help students?
Well, advising is a broad term.
Okay.
I guess
Tell us about that.
Well, I guess you could say advise. Actually, there was a project for my doctorate, one of the assignments we had to do. We talked about that. But anyways, so advising, you could just say, okay, do you want 8 or 9? Do you want this teacher, this teacher?
Okay.
Do you want, so you could do that, but it becomes way more than that. We're almost a therapist. I didn't really like that teacher because of this, or I didn't really like that class because of this, or, this kind of assignment really got me. And you get to really know the student and find out like what makes them tick, what makes them do well, what they don't do so well at, or whatever. So that kind of part of it. And then, do they like early morning? Do they like late afternoon? What is their personality? Are they like to stay up all night playing games? Or are they like someone who likes to wake up early and work out? Or are they an athlete? There's so many aspects to it. One student, it's not one size fits all. Like we customize our services depending on the student. A student may come in and it may just be straightforward. These are the classes I want. There's really no conversation to be had. And then there may be a student come in and like, I think I want this major. I think I want this major. I don't know what I want to do. And then there's all the way in between. So, every advising, we set up 15 minutes for each advising appointment. Sometimes we can get what we need done in 15 minutes. Sometimes it bleeds over. Sometimes we have to schedule another one. You never know.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. That's the one thing I do love about my job is it's never...
Same thing.
Yeah, it's never the same thing.
Our time has flown by. we are at a time. Where is advising located?
We are Overstreet 238, second floor of Overstreet. And on our floor is admissions and advising. So we kind of, admissions get you here and we hopefully keep you here or get you started in it. We're open 8 to 5 like everybody else.
And you've got information on the webpage.
We do.
And you're in the directory.
I am.
So all that's easy to find.
Yep.
Right?
Do you take walk-ins?
We do. Well, we're not supposed to be dating ourselves anyways, but right now we're getting ready for freshmen, for BAM for summer. And so right now we're kind of not taking walk-ins, so we do late registration.
Okay.
We do have a point where we have to stop because we have to get ready for our new freshmen coming in. We have to do grade checks. That's another aspect of the advising center. Do schedule changes if someone failed a class or whatever. So right now we're kind of in the cleanup transition time.
Okay.
But yes, we do take walk-ins.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Well, we appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
Appreciate
It's a pleasure. It's fun.
What if someone wants to find you once the interview ends and wants to just come by the office and just to say hi? I'm just kidding.
We have students that do that too.
Margarita, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us for Let's Talk.